Good morning, my name is Azucena and today I'm here to speak to you about my project Ensalada de Letras. In first place, we have to know what is Ensalada de Letras. So, se trata de un método de aprendizaje de lectura y escritura enfocado en niños de 6 años, cuya temática son las profesiones, las frutas y verduras. Consiste en una baraja de cartas que introduce a los personajes con carácter coleccionista, un cuaderno de actividades con ejercicios manipulativos para que los niños puedan practicar manualmente y un pequeño libro que explica algunas reglas de función. Antes de entrarnos en esto, tenemos que comprender también las necesidades que han llevado a cabo en este proyecto. Y es que se ha detectado que hay una necesidad sobre el refuerzo del uso de formato analógico sobre las pantallas, porque desde el COVID-19 se ha demostrado que las pantallas se usan cada vez más tiempo y además desde incluso una infancia más temprana. Además, se intenta mejorar, aunque sea de manera inconsciente, el consumo de fruta y verdura en niños, ya que en muchos casos estos presentan neofobia alimentaria y no lo consumen simplemente por desconocimiento a ella y temor a que sepan mal. Y por último, estudios que demuestran que el uso de historietas ayuda a que los niños retengan mejor información y comprendan con más facilidad las cosas que les explican. En cuanto a los objetivos, distinguimos dos grupos. Lo principal sería desarrollar un libro de actividades con actividades manipulativas adecuadas al niño, el uso de las cartas para introducir a los personajes, el uso de la IA como herramienta sin que sustituya ni el ingenio ni la mano de obra humana, y planificar un modelo de negocio por si acaso se comercializa el proyecto. En cuanto al segundo grupo, está proponer el diseño gráfico acorde al alumnado, que integre la actividad manipulativa, fomentar una actitud positiva hacia la fruta de la verdura, que sea una herramienta tecnológica, diseñar un personaje por cada letra abecedaria y crear un universo narrativo. Pues, como hemos visto anteriormente, se observan dificultades de aprendizaje en los niños, pero en especial desde el COVID-19 cuesta mucho que aprendan a leer y a escribir. Además, informes de PISA y OCDE demuestran que se perdieron 10 puntos en el rendimiento de lectura desde 2018 a 2022. En cuanto a la necesidad de formato analógico, es porque, al igual que decía Horrillo, la evolución de la tecnología no puede reemplazar el diseño de la actividad humana, al igual que la práctica física de la escritura no puede reemplazarse mediante un proceso por virtualización. Y además, de acuerdo también con Helena, entendemos que la experiencia de usuario siempre se ve beneficiada debido a que la sensación de tener un producto tangible crea una satisfacción mayor. Además, la producción física de los proyectos ha tenido necesidades tanto estéticas como emocionales. Mora decía también que el uso de las historietas para integrar el aprendizaje es una estrategia de neuroeducación porque la emoción activa la memoria. También se va a ver aplicada la filosofía de la moda en el diseño de los personajes, según la teoría de George Simmel, viendo, entre otras cosas, la expresión de la moda como expresión social y el hecho de la imitación y diferenciación que se puede tener en los grupos sociales a través de la ropa. Otros métodos de lectoescritura existen tres tipos. El sintético, que es el más tradicional, que va desde las unidades más pequeñas, serían las letras, hasta las más grandes, serían las frases. La analítica, que es justo al contrario, son supuestamente las más adecuadas para según los aspectos cognitivos y van desde las frases hasta las letras. Y por último, la mixta, que mezcla los anteriores y son las que más se usan porque impulsan a la vez la lectura y la escritura. Así que ese va a ser en el que se basa mi proyecto. En cuanto a algunas referencias utilizadas, han sido la familia Micho, que fue muy popular en los años 80 en España, y el de Islandia, que se usa actualmente gracias a su estilo colorido visual y el uso de la narrativa para la aprendizaje de los niños, y los caminitos rubios que se empezaron en 1956 por su metodología de repetición para que aprendan a escribir. En cuanto a qué contribuye novedoso en mi proyecto, está la temática de frutas y verduras como objetivo de representarla de una manera simpática para que a los niños les resulte más agradable. La metodología que se va a utilizar de trabajo, puesto que lo que se va a intentar es que cada letra es representada por un nombre, una fruta o verdura, una expresión y en casi todos los casos también un color. De esta manera se pueden construir frases largas en las que se repite constantemente un sonido. Por ejemplo, en el caso de la letra B sería Bruno el brócoli es un bombero y tiene un cubo blanco. Pues se repite constantemente el sonido BBB. Y en cuanto a la historieta de pronunciación, se procura también que los ejemplos incluyan la propia letra para que se vaya adaptando a los niños. Por ejemplo, el caso de la cereza, que es cantante, pues tiene dos tipos de voces. La voz dulce, para cuando se junta con la E de ahí, y la voz enérgica, cuando va con A, con O, con U. En cuanto a la metodología de desarrollo, se han desarrollado muchos métodos distintos, como está el briefing, el Gráfico y el Gámiz, pero entre todos yo lo que más destaca es el target, ya que tenemos dos tipos de público. El usuario, que sería el niño que utiliza el libro, y el profesor, que sería el que utiliza el material para enseñar al niño. Así, sí, el profesor sería el cliente. En cuanto al diseño de carácter, se buscan referencias en personajes tanto de Hora de Aventura, Mr. Wonderful y Pokémon, debido a su diseño simple, colores suaves, figuras redondeadas y cara sencilla. Entonces, luego haciendo el primer boceto, que además se intentaba integrar en la mayoría de casos la propia anatomía de la fruta para hacer diseño del personaje. En este caso, la piel pelada del plato simula el cuello huerto de la camisa del policía. Se crearon distintos tipos de cara y de cuerpo, siendo los escogidos la cara de verdatura y el cuerpo achatado, porque era lo que más se acercaba a lo que se buscaba en el objetivo. Sin embargo, aunque el diseño que se concluyó era bastante correcto, surgían dos problemas. El primero, que se podía confundir con un público mucho más infantil del que se intentaba, y el segundo, pues que era tan parecido a las referencias que le faltaba identidad visual. Por ello mismo se probó pasando el boceto a la IA con la única intención de que le diese un efecto como si fuera un muñeco cosido a mano de fieltro. Y finalmente se le corrigieron por los detalles y errores mediante Photoshop, porque cada personaje tiene postproducción. Después se repitió el proceso con los demás personajes. Y en cuanto a los derechos de autor de los recursos usados, los personajes son totalmente de mi autoría, por lo que actualmente no está protegido, aunque se hará en el futuro. Y la tipografía elegida se han buscado que sean de licencia legal y gratuita para uso comercial, de modo que no hay problemas para la aplicación. Se ha utilizado Riffy para los títulos de logo, para deletrear las letras, Railway de Gran Bretaña para la historieta, y las tres últimas, que son Learning Curve, Rally y Railway de España, para la enunciado de ejercicio. Cuanto a la estructura del proyecto, comenzando con la carta, se observa arriba del todo la letra que representa tanto la carta como el personaje. En la parte a la derecha, un poco más pequeño, que el tipo de letra que es, ya que puede ser consonante con cara abierta o cerrada, la imagen del personaje y debajo una pequeña descripción del mismo, que además está escrito con tipografía manuscrita por si acaso el niño prefiere, le apetece copiarla y en un trozo de papel aparte pueda practicarla. Se señala en color magenta la letra protagonista, para que el niño la reconozca visualmente. Cuando la portada tenemos por la parte de arriba el logo de la marca, una pequeña banda donde va la edición, que puede ser tanto cuando hace las letras para el cuaderno como cuando hace las reglas para el libro, la imagen de uno de los gemelos y el curso que va enfocado. En cuanto al libro y al cuaderno, presentan distintos tipos de plegos, pero voy a explicar el más usado en cada uno. En cuanto a libro, pasamos con el título por encima y el cuerpo de texto, por ejemplo. Acto seguido viene la imagen en común con el texto, y aquí puede pasar que o bien empiece el cuerpo de texto y la imagen inferior, o que se cambien en el orden. En cuanto al cuaderno, tenemos la letra arriba, el personaje a un lado y la pequeña descripción al otro. Esta tipografía no es manuscrita, puesto que el niño no sabe leer todavía, entonces se intenta que eso se lo lea tanto un profesor como un padre y ellos lo aprendan a distinguir sonoramente la letra. Está marcada la letra en magenta para que también la reconozcan visualmente. Se enseñan las sílabas, que pueden ser tanto nivel consonante y luego vocal como al contrario. Un apartado para que ellos practiquen tanto la letra de la escritura de la escritura de letras como mayúscula como minúscula. En algunas ocasiones hay un pequeño texto en la parte inferior porque guía a la regla correspondiente en el libro, aunque no están todas las consonantes. Y finalmente, la práctica de palabras en la imagen secundaria se debe entrar en relación con la praxis de práctica. Eso serían los diseños finales. Ahí vemos algunos mockups. Y por último, la evaluación crítica, que tal y como se indica en pantalla, se han cumplido la mayoría de ellos, siendo el número 7 el único que no se marca como cumplido, no por no haberse cumplido, sino porque una interrogativa debido a que solo se ha podido probar un usuario, por lo que no se puede saber si realmente afectaría al rendimiento del consumo de Bellver, ¿no? Sin embargo, se hicieron pequeñas pruebas piloto en mi hermana pequeña de 6 años, aunque no son científicas, verifican que esa niña que con problemas de alimentación desde bebé y se le ha mostrado, se le ha pillado una cuestión y en varias, aparte de su consumo de fruta y verdura bastante más favorable que entonces, una actitud bastante más amistosa hacia la persona. Llegando a dibujarla. Y ese dibujo fue muy especial porque se presentaba ella con fruta y verdura que aparecen en el proyecto, con unas rasgos similares, y además de tener una sexualidad, ella se muestra muy feliz con su fan. Se me olvidó decir que en el marco de casa hay una carta en blanco porque necesitan los niños muy creativos y es posible que estén creando su propio personaje, como el caso de ella que era. Eso sería todo y se tenía alguna pregunta. Adiós.
Nowadays, conventions dedicated to board games and card games are being held all around the world. That's why we have decided to create a project for our final project that is dedicated to card games. And it is based on the Japanese legends. And as a result of this project, we have developed several items, such as the packaging, the instructions, some game boards, and also a card deck. Why have we chosen this topic? Why have we chosen this topic? It's because over the last 20 years, screen consumption has increased a lot. And that has led to, amongst other things, to visual problems associated with their use. And also, it makes people less connected in real life and more hyper-connected online. That's why we have decided to create a project that encourages social interaction and disconnects you for a little bit of time from screens. These are the goals of the project. We have two types, the main goal and the secondary goals. The main goal is develop a prototype of a card game with an illustrated Japanese theme aesthetic consisting of physical cards to reinforce the idea of traditional experiences versus digital ones. And then we have the secondary goals that are four. Create a packaging, encourage digital disconnection through a playful activity, to convey cultural values without losing the country's identity, and to develop a distinctive and recognizable style for the game. For the background research, we started with Shintoism. Shintoism is an expression that comes from the Chinese Shinto plus Tao, that means path of gods. Shintoism arose from the myths, the legends, and the traditions from the ancient Japan. And a very important thing in Shintoism is the Gámiz, that are the gods. Kami can mean two things, gods and also something that transcends humanity. And there are over 1 million of gods in this religion, but some of them are more important than others. And then we have two types, that are the celestial ones that have divine power over the earth, and also terrestrial ones that protect the earth. The aesthetic that we chose to follow was the style that's called Shibuya Punk. That is a style that was also developed in Japan back in the early 2000s. In illustration, it has like a very distinguishable characteristics, such as a very saturated color palette, cel shading, an aesthetic that is inspired by skater and hip-hop fashion. And also it has punk influences. The main references of this style are the two video games, Jet Set Radio and Hi-Fi Rush. For the market analysis, we have studied different games to make sure what we wanted to include and what we do not want to include in the game. The games that we have studied are Jungo, Virus, La Tramposa, District Noir. There are 6 games in total. And all of them have a very fast-paced matches and do not include boards. And it's something that we wanted to implement in our game. And our differentiating element is that you have like 2 mechanics and you can't win if you haven't fulfilled the 2 mechanics. And in the other games that we have researched, if they had 2 mechanics, you can win either fulfilling one of them or the other. Now we have the methodology. We have developed a prototype of a card game. And first of all, we started by doing the sketches and all the things that the game needed. And for that purpose, we have used the Adobe Suite for the graphic design elements, and also a mixture of Procreate and Clip Studio for the illustrations. Last of all, we made like a little model of the game. And you will be wondering, what's the objective of the game? Well, it's simple. In the early 2000s in Japan, a war between gods had started, and you have to pick one of the teams, and you have to battle with the other ones. To win, you have to invoke all of the characters that are in your team, and also have balance between good and bad forces. I will explain that better later. Okay. We have started by sorting our teams. We have divided the teams into four. The red one that is representing fire, the blue one that represents water, the green one that represents nature, and the yellow one that represents electricity. They are all natural elements. And first of all, we did some sketches, such as this one, that are on the screen, for the characters, and then we passed on to the final cards. Okay. For the packaging, we chose to focus on our four main characters that are the leaders of the teams, and we have them on the cover. And it's the environment that surrounds them is a train that is covered with graffiti, something that is very representative from Shibuya Punk also. And as you can see, this is the cover. These are the sides. And then on the bottom part of the box, I will show you later, because if I do not have the spot, there is a description of the game and also the things that it contains. Then we developed the 3D game boards. This was one of our first sketches. It was more traditional than Shibuya Punk, but later on we have decided that the Shibuya Punk take the whole aesthetic of the project. So this is the first design that we had, and these are the final ones. How do they work? Well, you put the card here, and on the card there is a little number that tells you how many lives it has. So you put them here, and then you put the pieces, the number of pieces that the card has, and they are the life of the gods. There should be like 4 for each team, because they have like the colors of the teams. Then these are the game boards that help you to measure the balance between the good and bad forces, and you have to have like 3 of them, 3 of each one, to have the forces balanced. The black ones go in the black part, and the white ones in the white part. Last but not least, we have the instructions of the game. I made 2, so you can look at them properly. And they contain all that the game has. And to finish with the things that we've done, we have some merchandising for you. To conclude this project, we can see if we have fulfilled the goal or if we haven't. The main goal was successfully completed because we developed a game that is fully developed and that it has the aesthetic and the main theme and the match well. And then we have the secondary goals. Create a packaging proposal for the complete game. It was also accomplished because we have made a model of it and also some mockups. And then encourage digital disconnection. We have done that by not having any digital elements on our project. The next one was also successfully completed because all the aesthetic and all the theme is based on the aesthetics of Japan, and it combines the ancient Japan with the modern one. And we have also developed a distinctive and recognizable style for the game graphics, because all the pieces of the game have the same aesthetic and they match correctly. Well, this was the project, the final project. Any questions, any doubts?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Helena, and today I will be presenting my research project titled Brand Identity and Digital Communication, Analysis of Lifestyle Branding and its Graphic Expression on Social Media in the Fashion Sector. So before we begin, I would like us to think about, for a moment, about something. So when we follow a brand on social media, it's often not because we want to buy a specific garment, but because we are attracted to what, to everything that brand represents, like the atmosphere, an attitude, a way of life. So we buy the feeling before the product, and that has a name. And it is the starting point of my work, lifestyle branding. This idea has been studied a lot from marketing and business, but there is one question no one responded, and is how lifestyle is translated visually. So my work approaches this from a graphic design point of view, and whether those visual choices really have an effect on their audience. So through this presentation, I will show how I did it and what I found out. So these are the hypotheses I had at the beginning of the process. The first one was the focus is on building a lifestyle rather than directly representing the product. The publications mostly lack the use of typography or graphic elements added in post-production. 3, when the brand's graphic identity appears in publication, it's mostly integrated into the garments or products. 4, posts that represent lifestyle context generate higher levels of engagement. And 5, streetwear brands show a coherence between their visual identity and their communication on social media. And for the objectives, I will just read the principal one. To analyze how Spanish streetwear brands build and communicate their identity and lifestyle on Instagram through visual, graphic, and narrative resources, and to determine the role of the product within this communication, lifestyle branding. So according to the state of art, the previous research can be organized around 3 questions. The first one is what is the lifestyle branding as a strategy? We know perfectly well what it means to sell a lifestyle. The second one is why, and why does it work? What makes people connect with these brands? This is also supported, especially from sociology and communication studies. But there is a third question that no one has answered, and it's the how. How is all of this translated visually? And this is what specific design decisions are made, what type of photos, what layouts are used. And that's the gap my project filled. Es que es como que tengo el ratón ahí, pero no me deja como pasarlo para acá.
Tienes que llevarlo hacia otro problema.
Sí, gracias. Muchas gracias. Thank you. So this research uses quantitative content analysis, making visual elements turn into data we can measure and compare. For the period, it was chosen the first quarter of 2026 because it's a period that includes key moments of the fashion calendar. As the platform, I chose Instagram because it's the most visual one and the most used in Spain for following brands and finding inspiration in lifestyles, according to La Teva Web. And I selected these 5 brands you can see there because they appear in the list of the most relevant Spanish streetwear brands, according to Esquire. So for the methodology, I designed 2 analysis matrices. The first one is this one, and it works at a post level, publication level, and records more an strategic information, as you can see in the matrix. The second one is this one, works at creativity level, and this one goes like deeper and looks at every single image inside each post, one by one. And here I recorded like the visual or graphic decisions, like how the product appears, the type of shot, the use of typography, where the logo is placed. And this is like the continuation of that matrix, like the space and the context shown. The case of and in the case of videos, like we looked at the sound, like the length and the type of editing. So the two matrix together, like they let me connect like the design decisions with the response of the audience. For the development, like this was everything that I analyzed, and this is like a preview of all the matrix like applied to the posts and the creativities. You can see from new project, all the posts analyzed like one by one by me. Okay, so now we will see the selection of the most significant results and how they validate or support my hypothesis, my initial hypothesis. So the first hypothesis was that these brands sell a lifestyle more than the product itself, and this is true with one interesting detail. Like, as you can see in the graphic, the product still appears in most of the publications, but in more than a quarter of them, it's no longer like the main focus. Like, it shows up in the background or it doesn't appear at all. So the clothing stops being like the object on display and becomes like part of the lifestyle or a life story. The second hypothesis was that these brands barely use text added on top of their images, and they communicate mostly through the visual. And this clearly confirmed, as you can see, like almost the 90% of the posts don't have a single word written on top. So it's a style decision. The text on a photo, it's usually like linked to traditional advertising. And these brands want to move away from that. So they prefer the photo to speak for itself and pass on a feeling, not like on a sales message. And also a note, like when the text is used, it's not to sell, but to tell a story inside the post. Like when the text appears, it works like for the storytelling, not for the sale. The third hypothesis was that when the logo or the brand identity appears, it's part of the clothing itself and not added digitally on top of the photo, and this is confirmed too, as you can see on the graphic. In two out of 3 posts, the brand is on the garment or in the space, and like in the print, for example, or on the label, embroidered. So they almost never add it over the image or like on post-production. The fourth hypothesis was that posts showcasing a lifestyle generate more engagement than those that only feature products. And here is the most revealing part. Like when I linked the product showcasing to the engagement, I saw like something so clear, and it's that the less the product stands out, the more the audience responds. So like the fourth hypothesis was totally confirmed. Like people connect more with the word around the brand than with the product itself. Here you can see also that like the context shown it's not like any like ordinary context. It's normally like as you can see, like traveling context or professional context. It's like aspirational, like aspirational context. It's like chosen context. So H5 is widely confirmed too. For 3 months, like no publication deviated like from the brand's visual identity or values. So this shows like an active and well-managed direction system. And the surprising thing is that 1 in 4 like pieces or creativities doesn't even have a logo, and yet you can recognize the brand. So you can see that the identity of the brand is transcended to the transcended like the symbol. And then for the last result, we can see like this general comparative graphic. And as you can see, there's a brand that really like pops up like from the other ones, and it's New Project, as you can see. And like it's not coincidence that New Project is the one who has like the biggest community and the biggest brand from all the corpus. And it's because they do like really different things in their communication. As you can see, it's the one who has like the biggest engagement, and they use like the mostly like the traveling context. In the 20% of their publications, like there's no product, like you cannot see their product, and they use typography to speak about the storytelling, and also they use a lot of videos. So for my conclusions, all the hypotheses were confirmed. Also, the objectives were completed. And for my personal valoration, like thanks to this project, I have discovered like a new way of approaching graphic design, not only from creation but also from research. And like I really enjoyed like being able to add a small contribution to this discipline and the design community. I feel like completely satisfied with my work, like the work I have done, but also like we know that digital marketing and social media communication, they are changing all the time. So like it would be like really interesting to repeat this same analysis in the future, like some years apart, to see how brands change and how they keep translating their lifestyle into images. So this has been all. Thank you for your attention, and now I will be like responding all the questions that you have. Thank you so much.
Hello all, welcome to Horario. We are Pablo and Ignacio, and we are going to present you our TFG.
Con los demás.
Vuelve a tener sin problema.
Espera que se mueva el ordenador.
Dale, adelante, izquierda. Para el proyecto de y no va a tiempo de proyecto.
Espérate.
Mejor que sí. ¿No? Yo como vosotros creéis.
Que se ha bugueado el acro.
Sí, claro.
Esto para ponernos un poco más nerviosos, está bien.
¿Se va a volver la prueba?
Sí. A ver si ahora funciona bien. Voy a probarlo antes de nada. Ahora.
Well, hello again.
Yo creo que cada vez no debería pasar. ¿No te toca?
Bueno,
Sigue abriendo con Google Chrome. Y dale.
No, en Google está abierto.
ah,
Ahí, vete a descarga. Es que la cosa de Google es que se va a ver los bordes de estos, pero bueno, esto que lo vamos a hacer.
Mejor porque que no pasa.
sí, por lo que sea.
Los tres puntitos que se.
Bueno, se ve más o menos.
No lo vamos a meter.
¿Puedes pasar?
Sí. Well, hello again. We are Pablo and Ignacio are going to present you our TFG, Graphic Design and Branding, Conceptualization and Development of a Clothing and Equipment Brand focused on the motorcycle world. Did you know that in all of the 6 million motorbikes in total of Spain, more than 56% of the people use it to go to the workplace or study place to home? We didn't know, so we tried to investigate and get to the thing that is, why wouldn't anyone do an apparel brand that is comfortable for the user? Why all the jackets has to be so rough, so tough? Maybe you want to really explain on the big. You can even move, you have like a standard code like this. So maybe when you want to create a brand that results comfortable for the user. Horario emerges as a brand concept for those who perceive the motorcycle not merely as means of transport, but as lifestyle. We have been investigating, and in the motorcycle world, the motorbike is not just a part of the day of the person, it's like a matter of life. So we try to merge with the user to create Horario. This project aims to develop a clothing brand for experienced motorcyclists between the ages of 25 and 60. Why? Because we have a kind of 90 vibes, so our target is also focused in the A permission, not the minus permission, but the higher cylinder you can drive with a motorbike. To start all of this investigation, we did a survey with which we took this to conclusion. The first graphic shows the 73.3% of the people that we surveyed concludes that the motorbike graphic style it's like monotone and doesn't really like evolve, like it's stuck in a graphic place and it doesn't like change by the years with the trends. And the other one, the 80, affirms that they are feeling comfortable wearing their motorbike apparel to every other aspect of their life. That's another reason why I decided to create Aerion. Aerion intends to occupy this space by providing a contemporary vision that resonates with a user seeking more than just standard technical equipment. These are some of our goals or objectives. The first and the principal would be to design and conceptualize a clothing brand for veteran bikers. And the others would be like design an agile, attractive, and functional corporate identity, create a website aligned with the brand and fully optimized for e-commerce, to develop a creative universe tailored by the profile of users with deep experience in the motorcycle world, adapt the brand concept seamlessly for both print and digital media, to develop an effective communication strategies, build a robust, complex, and comprehensive social media strategy, and inject a rejuvenating character into the traditional aesthetics, like I commented, of the motorcycle apparel sector, and to develop a solid business plan for the brand to constitute it. But first of all, to help you understand why we have took this path of design and decisions, it's mandatory to justify with the theoretical framework. We have based our brand in the mythological figure of Arion, which is a horse. Some poets like Quinto said that it's a son of Gea. So we have that connection with the soil, with the terrestrial plane. But as you can see, it's kind of divino, and it has wings which also have meant for velocity. And in the Iliad, the author comments that Arion appeared in a battle to save the king of Etrea. So we have all these three things, which be the connection with the soil, the protection, and velocity. As a part of the communication style, we have investigated about Stasi, alpine stars, and grinding, trying to combine this aesthetic of the motorbikes with some 19th styles and more like a lifestyle streetwear kind of clothes to use it for every day. Also, in the web part and online media, also a social media, we have tried to have our inspiration in Oakley, which is another clothing and sunglasses brand, mainly focused on extreme sports, which has a really technological character. Another thing, more like not just a stylistic reference, but such as a communicative reference. We have consulted the Alpine Star Reservoir, which is like the lifestyle slash kind of merchandising part of Alpine Stars, the motorbike apparel brand. And finally, we have this table where we can acquire some kind of conclusions. For example, we have detected that Diners, for example, doesn't have any urban collections, but the proper protections are really strong. So we must combine and we must learn from other brands to adapt our concept. And the conclusions are, which are, as I commented, that we have to develop a lifestyle style and the protective style, but also with the main goal of protect with style.
In the student client Horario, we can trade in the first time in the DAFO. DAFO divides in 4 parts. The first part is strengths. We realize a strong aesthetic vision, powerful brand identity, and ability to adapt to visual trends. For another part, we focused in a niche. Initial focus on lower investigated accessories. For other part of the app, weaknesses, results, and knowledge gaps, initial lacks of technical expertise in safety patterning and abrasive material. Startup limitation. In opportunities, we make friends, grow in the neo-metro and urban sector. And this teletext, use, for example, social media, Instagram and TikTok. Threats, speed competition and barrier to entry. In speed competition, stability trust in make higher, for example, like Identidad, Fernández, or Horrillo. In Gámiz, the use correct is, for example, the technical partnership, collaboration with especially technical workshop to ensure graphic design translate into the 35. And another, the capsule drops, launch limit, and print of demand, mainly. Confront progressive certification, build market credibility, and incrementally by main in the European certification, and radical branding, cultural learner, competition budget through striking. In the main chain, we divide in visual storytelling and lifestyle marketing. Visual storytelling, for example, the design a background to deliver flawless pattern. Web design and social media. And explore opportunities, collaborate with micro-influence, customization, for example, the capitalize on the internal graphic design team. In the democratic segmentation, the target audience consists of finally stable, mature riders and veteran riders. The ultimate riders is 25 to 60 in urban environment who freely travel by highway and have the disposable income to invest in premium. The segmentation psychographic, the alien riders integrate the motor types into their daily identity, seeking distress, elegant safety gear with real technical protection, like cordura or calibra, for example. Rider some bulky racing suits. They evaluate exclusivity, aesthetic, storytelling, and local craftsmanship over mass production, curiosity, and versatility, appear as transition safely from the road for social professional setting. Behavioral administration, the alien rider use the motorcycle as a primary vehicle for both daily commuting and leisure routes. Requires gears that perform the quality while in urban traffic and highway speeds. The main planet is quality driver purchase, showing high brand locality, brand progress certification. And additionally, they are active digital users who leverage for e-commerce and social media to research technical specs. What things and feels the user? The alien riders is motivated by desire for subtle safety, workings, and physical vulnerability, but disliking the robotic, for example, loop conversion gear. What's there? The alien rider draws style inspiration from industrial design, customer motorcycle accounts, and premium publication like motorcycle and wallpaper. What's this? The alien rider, Pablo professional image, and attention to detail when interacting with partners and clients, while closely following expert community opinion or technical capability, such as curl bar fabric innovate. What's in and do's? And that's the alien riders in the informed deliberate buyer who curiosity presentation, certification, and material solving over impulse to purchasing. They drive careful styling machine like another mark, for example, Neoplastic or Scrambler, professional standard in the city, and they closely follow the brand digital narrative to understand the craftsmanship and purchase the behind every design. The avion is manufactured in Spain and Portugal, allows the brand to Eritrea push the protestation of jacket and especially amidst fluctuating routes and material costs, avoiding excess stock. To combat variable timer for global certification, Ion will simultaneously launch Jacker and new warnings to generate immediate review and establish its market prevents while awaiting final technical validation. High technical complexity is managed through collaboration with a special workshop, ensuring the Jacker provides price protection for riders 30-60 without certificate style. The banning as a startup, Ion mitigates supply chain priority by manufacturing locally in Spain and Portugal, reducing dependence of complex international logistics and security into protection for the jacket and gloves to address maker anxiety stemming from a lack of brand history again establishing for the clients. The brand use transparent technical specification and powerful storytelling to build a trust with space to the riders. And the business plan for Horario is, in the first part, the consumer segment, the target audience focuses on urban community needing casual jet protecting gears, the custom cafe riders, community seeking retro model, and identifies to digital native online shoppers, customer relationships is international model, combining premium automatic service via Shopify with direct fast support, for example, by WhatsApp for citing, while fostering post-sale community engagement through user-generated social media content. The channel, market reach, driven by high-speed proprietary, for example, in e-commerce, in this case, Framer, storefront, organic page, social media video campaign, in social media, and automatic email marketing for the newsletter. Value position, core benefit, delivers stylish human awareness, double as certification, abrasion resistant, technical motorcycle gear, and other certification. The review streams, modification, generate through direct to e-commerce site, checkout cross-selling, and lower cost accessories. And the Special Motorcycle Association membership subscription at that grand exclusive product access. For example, the discount and references while reaching 40% of the profits. Key activity operations concentrated on digital marketing and high quality content creation, rigorous technical product design and quality control, efficient logistic management. The key resource asset relies to integrate to e-commerce technology and the human institute for initial management. Minimal viable physical inventory alongside launch capital. The key partners Alliance built a partnership with especially technical textile manufacturer. For example, DHL, Seur, and technology infrastructure provides to riders associations a cost structure expensive, dominated by cost of goods sold and fixed operation fees. The software, the subscription, logistic. And conclusions, we conclude the objectives in this case. This is the design and give attractive and functional corporate identity. In this case, is the typography logo, and next is the other version in positive, negative, and the color version. The next, this is the palette color. The palette color is inspiration in Dinettes and other marks in the industry. Mainly is hot colors in this case, the main color to the mark is anion red. It's like a red combination with orange and the gray color. This is the main typography to the text. This is the Helena typography, or style extended, because it's very good typography because it's very strong and it's stay in italic, and this represents the faster and strong. And this is the typography to the mark in the bodies. The Helvetica, because it's sans serif, is very good legitimable, is functional.
And continuing with the main goals, we have again design an agile, attractive, and functional corporate identity, where you can see here some applications. If someone maybe please turn on the light, we will. We'll show you the graphical application. Which is one of the main pieces of the collection called Drop 001. It's as well, but with this photo designed mainly for putting on your motorbike protections, having the possibility to, of course, removing it when you don't want to use it. For example, if you have a work meeting. Another two applications would be mine shirt and his cheek, combining also the horse reference with also the bold text and the aesthetic as Nacho commented. This would be one of the prototypes of the jacket, as he said, trying to be developed in the Iberian Peninsula to reduce the cost and embrace like not such as local commerce but European commerce, ensuring the CE qualifications. This is one of the versions of our horse logo, of our audio logo, designed mainly with this stylish look-alike, because it's focused on printed media, on rigid printed media such as it could be metal, it could be silicone, to have it stamped on different surfaces. This would be one example of our beanies, designs also with the height of the width of the motorbikes to put it. And here you could see some labeling of the brand. This would be our web, which also you can check it out, please, if you make me the favor. And we are also gonna share it through the screen to show the desktop version. As you can see, it's also again the ASCII aesthetics, and for sure it's fully functional. We have only designed the landing page with the main goal of explaining what we do, which I've also said that print on demand, a dead date to reserve the apparel, sorry. And then the clothes, it's X-Classic, and from that moment we start to send this. If you click on this X-Classic presale, you could see that it's a contact form where you can fulfill your data, and then the email will send us. Continuing with this would be again the example of the jacket, a baklava that we have to also design, because a lot of motorbike people practically begged us to make a baklava, and also the lifestyle part. Here we also have our social media, which is really important for our brand, because if you don't have social media, you are practically nobody. You also have to be in constant contact with all the people to create a community, to create like a secure space for the people to be. If you click here, for example, you will be redirected to this. And finally, our newsletter, which also you can subscribe to the to receive some news and the updates of the brand. You will have collections, which is of course not now, which the collection is planned to be sent in October, and the about, which we tell about a bit of who we are and what we wanna do with the Arion brand. Please. Continuing with, I don't know where is it at now. Direct problems, live stream problems. That's a bit post, so I can take it because I'm joking. Here is the mobile version that you have seen on your devices. The website also, all of this were part with the main goal of create a website aligned with the brand and fully optimized for e-commerce, which we think that we have developed it successfully. And also we have built a robust, complex and comprehensive social media strategy. We have designed a social media plan consisting in 3 to 5 posts on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok. Facebook and Instagram mainly focus for those more veteran people, which is what they use, and TikTok mainly for the 25 to 30 people, with the frequency from 11 a.m. to 13 p.m. because they are the most activity hour rates. And here you can see another example of post, also combining that kinda neo-retro aesthetics, like Nacho said, with those brown filters and those brights, augmented brights. This would be an example of story, announcing a meeting with the Masales, one of our key associates, which we are collaborating with them to release the brand. And finally, the packaging, which I'm gonna show you to you. Of course, take into account that this is a prototype, it's handmade. But the idea would be to release something like this with those two parts. The reaction is the labels on the two parts, and close it with like I showed that with very solid presentation. I don't know if it's gonna see an idea how it would work. And from now on, we would like very pleased to answer any question that the tribunal or the other public has. So thank you for listening to us, and we are Arion. Thanks.
Como tú quieras. Vale. La
globalization and versus cultural identities, an analysis of the use of traditional patterns in the visual identity of anthropological museums in America, Europe, and Oceania. This is a research project. Firstly, I want to ask a question.
Vivimos rodeados de imágenes, marcas, símbolos, pantallas, identidades que vemos cada día sin detenernos a pensar qué representan realmente. En un mundo globalizado, el diseño gráfico tiende cada vez más a la simplificación, a la naturalidad, a un lenguaje visual común. Logotipos parecidos, colores repetidos, sistemas gráficos que podrían pertenecer a cualquier lugar, pero existen instituciones cuyas funciones están precisamente conservar la memoria, la historia y la identidad de las culturas, los museos antropológicos. Espacios creados para preservar aquello que hace única a la sociedad, sus símbolos, sus tradiciones, su patrimonio. Entonces surge una pregunta: ¿su identidad es visual representan realmente la cultura de los países? ¿O también han acabado adaptándose a una estética internacional?
To conduct this research, we start with the following hypotheses. The first one is, despite globalization, local culture still appears in visual identity, which is divided into museums show clear visual identities that match their culture. Visual elements like logos, shapes, or colors transmit unique cultural traits. Each country designs the visual identity of its museums differently. Graphic design helps to transmit the values of a society. Globalization creates a tension between a standard style and a traditional design. And institutional graphic design connects cultural identity with a global image. The second one is the identity of the museum shows the three models of globalization by Lamo de Espinosa. That is, melting pot is a mix of cultures into a since homogeneous identity. Salad bowl model, that is different cultures living together in the same design. And gazpacho model is a mix of cultural elements that combine but can still be recognized. About the objectives, I will define the first one and more important, to identify how much cultural graphic identities are present in the image of anthropological museums. They identify Lamo de Espinosa models in each museum. To analyze if globalization makes a museum forget traditional design and choose a standard style instead. To examine the real graphic elements like logos, color shapes, poster, or signage in the website, and to reflect on how design of these museums connects cultural identity with the global image on their country. To achieve the objectives set out above, we have used the following methodology, that is objective context analysis and a quantitative approach that focused on the systematization and comparison of data or information. The goal was to look closely at the website design to understand if they show their own culture or a more international language. To do this, we divide the analysis into 6 parts: logo, elements and symbols, vexillology, flags, color palette, font type, and name. And the score is O for a variable absent, 1 for variable present or and neutral representation, and 2 for variable present and cultural representation. About the justification, we analyzed a corpus of 25 museums with the top-ranked anthropological museums on Google from America, Europe, and Oceania in the same time of the search. We have here 23 museums because 2 museums have not logo. About the results obtained in the research, this is the museum, the National Museum of Anthropology of Spain, and our conclusions. We have mostly globalized in their characteristics. This is one result. The mostly result is globalized. All of them is also mostly globalized. And this is the same situation. This is a global zone that have more representation in color palette, and the cultural zone used more the elements or symbols and naming. About the conclusions, the hypothesis, the first one is we got in the medium level, and the second one also in the medium level, because we have a mix of melting pot and salad bowl. About the objectives, we get all of them have been complete, so we can confirm that the methodology used was correct. Thank you.
Muy bien.